August the 6th, 2025. Past few days has been a roller coaster of emotions. And I'm sure many people are feeling the same thing with all of the changes that we are witnessing around the world and the constant stress and despair, along with our own personal journeys of trying to figure out how we're going to manage ourselves moving forward, what it's going to look like. And I still have this undertone of just knowing, like excitement. I'm excited for this all to shift away and for us just to be on the other side of this. And yet, we're not there yet. So as much as I want to post all this positivity and anticipation of all the good things to come, it doesn't fit today. It just does not fit. And that would just be more toxic positivity, because I'm not feeling it, so it would be very disingenuous. I know it exists, it's just not in this moment right now. The energy is just... I wrote about it this morning, actually, and I, in my writing, talked about it being like a wet blanket, being just like slowly dropped over our ability to receive, to breathe, to engage. It's like slowly suffocating our will and motivation, our understanding and clarity. And so for me, what I find myself doing is reaching out, and actually lots of the things that we have in our minds that kind of percolate of, should I contact this person? Should I ask that question? Should I do this? Should I do that? I don't know which way to go. What is the best decision? What is the way forward? And many people will say, don't make decisions during Mercury retrograde. And because I don't really understand that world, and at some point I'm sure I will, I'm getting more and more exposed to that language. But this sense of like really questioning and being in this in-between space of not really knowing what to do or where to go or how to do it, but knowing you need to do something. You need to take some form of action. You can feel that something is coming, and it feels like there's this hammer that's about to fall. And you would love to get out of the way, but you don't even know where the hammer is falling. So where do you move? Maybe you're possibly moving to where the hammer is actually falling and you're fine where you are. Or maybe it's where you are that you need to move. Like, that's the thing. That's the feeling, the sense of uncertainty. And it's disconcerting. It's disconcerting because normally, like in the past, for me anyway, you had things you had to do. So you just did the stuff, and you were constantly like kids, taking care of everyone's needs, partners taking care of everyone's needs, jobs, you get up, you go to work, you give all your energy to this place, and then you leave and you go home, and then you get back to doing the other stuff that requires you. But since 2020, when the world clicked to a new station, so many of us stayed on pause. So many people suddenly had this time to stop and look around and take stock of where they were and what they're doing and why, and how much energy they were expending for so little return. And that makes it really hard to go back. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. And even if you just get back to doing it because you feel like you need to do, it sits with you. It just doesn't fit in. It just doesn't fit anymore. And weirdly, I'm losing my voice, which is interesting. And so, for me, since 2020, when I had some real epiphanies about my situation and my partnership, and so many things in my life, that it became impossible to just keep doing what I was doing. Couldn't do it. And there's been so many times in my life where I've hit this wall, where it's make or break. Sometimes it doesn't even end up being your choice. It just is, you're left to pick up the pieces because you didn't heed all the other warnings that said, hey, detour, stop going where you're going. This doesn't end well. But you just keep pushing through. So being more mindful of that now, I find that I ask even more questions, and that I have slowed myself right down. And I think there's so many of us who are doing that right now. And we're noticing more. And we're making more intentional moves. And that is why it is so challenging to watch what's happening around us and not do anything about it. Like, not actually make big leaps and decisions. It's slow and steady. It's having that patience. It's knowing that things will work out, and to make little moves, trusting our gut, and gaining more awareness. Because the more information we have, obviously the more informed we are, and the more objective we are, the better decisions we make. So I wonder how many people are having that sense right now. How many people are feeling this? It's just like this impending doom. And of course, we're all being flooded, if you watch the news, if you watch anything actually online, with different events that are trying to pull in our attention, pulling our energy. And that's why when I come out to the woods, to nature, and I smell the air, and I disconnect, I mean, other than making these videos, but I disconnect from receiving information, other than what I'm receiving by grounding. Because this messaging here is not the messaging which is on social media. The messaging that nature is sharing with us constantly is that it's getting itself back into balance. And that may not be the most conducive for our sense of familiarity, because we have never known balance. And so it's kind of funny, because I was thinking about this the other day, that no one that I know talks about how it feels to get into a state of peace and contentment. For me, having been very active my whole life, spontaneous and going and doing and exploring and adventures and things like that. Very, very high level dopamine hits. And so when I slowed right down, it was hard to understand that peace feels very boring. It feels very boring because it's uneventful. There's no drama, there's no chaos, there's nothing to like boost you up. It just is. And it took a long time for me to understand that and accept that. And I think, and as much as people are seeking peace and contentment, it would be good to know in advance that that actually feels very differently than a busy life. A busy life of going and doing and feeling. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm not saying it's not. But the peace comes from within you that you don't need that. You don't need to go and fill your life and to be busy. That you're just content with being with yourself, doing whatever you're doing, and that you don't need to seek it somewhere else. So maybe that will be of value for someone. It would have been good for me to know on many different occasions when I was actually in a state of peace. Everything was okay. My legs weren't getting kicked out from under me. No one was betraying me. No one was trying to destabilize my environment, including myself, subconsciously, unconsciously, as we seek familiarity, thinking it's comfort, when really it's just the devil you know. So as we all seek to gain some kind of calm and clarity and balance and understanding of where we're at and what to expect moving forward, just remember that sense you're looking for isn't out there. It's in here. And I know it sounds so cliche, but that is a fact. That is a fact. Turn inward. And we're all in this together. You're not alone. Whatever's going to happen to you is going to happen to everyone. So let's stick together. It's all coming back into balance. It's all being balanced. All that is balanced. So maybe humanity is the only thing left to become balanced. Individually, each one of us. Our masculine and feminine within us. Integrating, alchemizing the energy that we are projecting and moving through. Nature's never been out of balance, ever. The climate has never been out of balance. Humanity, the lack of conscious action, awareness, consideration, that's out of balance, which has impacted nature, climate, and our experience. We've been so out of balance with it within our environment, that our suffering is a result of our lack of awareness. And like anything that is out of balance for too long, it'll just push itself back into its rightful place. Okay, until next time, everyone, stay safe and stay connected, and we'll see you really soon. Bye.